Discipline is not built on the surface. It does not live in the applause, in the recognition, or in the eyes of others. True discipline has its roots in silence, in choices made when no one is watching, in the quiet battles fought within your mind. Shi Heng Yi teaches us that what is seen, the strength, the calmness, the consistency, is only the fruit. What is unseen are the roots, and without those roots, the tree of life cannot grow, cannot stand, and cannot survive the storm. Today, let us explore the unseen roots of true discipline. Discipline is not built in a single moment of effort. It is not something you achieve once and then carry forever. Discipline is alive. It breathes, it grows, it must be fed daily. And the food it thrives on is consistency. Consistency is the unseen root that strengthens your foundation, the hidden force that turns small actions into unshakable habits. Think about the nature of a tree. A tree does not grow tall in one day. It does not break through the soil and immediately stretch toward the heavens. No, the roots must first dig deep, unseen by anyone. They must spread quietly, steadily, with patience and persistence. If those roots stop growing, the tree weakens. If the roots are shallow, the tree falls with the first storm. The same is true for you. Your actions, repeated with consistency, form the roots of your discipline. The truth is, most people fail not because they are incapable, but because they are inconsistent. They start strong, full of fire and energy, but when the novelty fades, when results don't come fast enough, when comfort whispers, they stop. And in that moment, the roots are abandoned. Without consistency, there is no stability. Without stability, there is no strength. Consistency is not glamorous. It is not exciting. It is the decision to rise every morning and do what must be done, regardless of mood, regardless of excuses. It is the invisible victory you achieve each time you choose discipline over comfort. One workout may not transform your body. One day of study may not expand your mind. One moment of silence may not calm your thoughts. But when you repeat these choices daily, something unseen is happening. You are growing roots. Understand this: motivation is fleeting, but consistency is eternal. Motivation is a spark, but consistency is the fire that keeps burning. Motivation is the applause of the beginning, but consistency is the silent work that no one praises. Discipline does not ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be consistent, to show up again and again, especially when it's hard, especially when you feel like giving up. Ask yourself, what is one action you can commit to daily? Not a massive, overwhelming task, but one simple act repeated with devotion. Maybe it is writing a page each day. Maybe it is moving your body for 20 minutes. Maybe it is speaking one kind word to yourself. Small steps taken consistently have more power than great leaps taken occasionally. Because great leaps without consistency fade into nothing, but small steps with consistency create transformation. The unseen root of consistency builds trust within yourself. Every time you keep a commitment, even a small one, you are telling your mind, I can rely on me. This trust becomes your foundation. And when you trust yourself, when you prove to yourself that you will not break your own promises, your discipline grows unshakable. Consistency also teaches humility. You begin to understand that greatness is not built on grand gestures but on small, steady steps. A master is not created by talent alone, but by daily practice repeated endlessly. The strongest warrior is not the one who fights once with passion, but the one who trains each day with patience. The wisest mind is not the one who studies for a week, but the one who learns every day for years. Consistency turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. And remember this: storms will come. There will be days when you feel tired, days when life is heavy, days when the world tells you to quit. But if your roots are consistent, if they are deep and strong, you will not be shaken. The tree with strong roots does not fear the wind. The person with consistent discipline does not fear obstacles. So, do not look for quick results. Do not chase sudden transformations. Focus on the unseen roots. Be consistent. Day after day, water your habits, nurture your choices, strengthen your foundation. Because one day when you least expect it, you will rise tall like the tree, and the world will see what you have become. But remember, what the world sees will always be less important than what you built in silence. The fruit is visible, but it is the roots that make the tree unshakable. Consistency is not just a practice, it is a way of life. And when you embrace it fully, you will discover that discipline is no longer a struggle. It becomes who you are. Patience is one of the most underestimated qualities in the journey of discipline. In a world that glorifies speed, instant results, and quick rewards, patience feels like weakness to many. But in truth, patience is power. It is the unseen root that holds discipline firmly in place, the hidden strength that allows growth to unfold naturally. Without patience, discipline collapses. With patience, it becomes unshakable. Look at nature. A seed does not become a tree in a week. It must lie in the soil, invisible to the world, taking root in silence. The farmer waters it, day after day, without seeing progress. The ground looks unchanged, but beneath the surface, something extraordinary is happening. Roots are forming. life is preparing to break through. If the farmer is impatient, if he stops watering, the seed dies before it ever sees the light. The same is true for your discipline. You may not see results today. You may not see them tomorrow, but patience ensures that your efforts are not wasted, that the unseen work you are doing will one day rise into visible strength. Impatience is the enemy of discipline. It whispers, "Why am I not there yet? Why is it taking so long? Maybe this isn't working." And many people quit in that moment, not realizing that they were closer to success than they thought. Impatience digs up the seed before it has a chance to grow. It destroys progress before it can show itself. Patience, however, is the calm voice that says, "Keep going. The roots are growing. The time will come." Patience is not passive. It is not simply waiting and doing nothing. Patience is active endurance. It is the strength to keep showing up, to keep working, to keep believing, even when results are invisible. It is the discipline to trust the process, even when the process feels endless. Many give up too soon, not because they lack ability, but because they lack patience. Think about your own journey. How many times have you started something expecting quick results, only to feel disappointed when progress was slow? How many times have you abandoned a dream because it didn't bloom fast enough? If you reflect honestly, you will see that the dream did not die because it was impossible. It died because patience was absent. Patience also teaches humility. It reminds you that you are not in full control of time. You cannot force a tree to grow faster. You cannot command the seasons to change. You cannot demand that results appear instantly. What you can control is your effort, your persistence, your discipline. Patience humbles you to accept that growth has its rhythm, and your task is not to rush it but to remain steady until it arrives. When you practice patience, you also protect your mind from frustration. Frustration is the fire that burns away discipline. It makes you angry at the journey, resentful of the process, doubtful of yourself. But patience is the water that cools the fire. It allows you to breathe, to stay calm, to remember that every effort counts, even when unseen. It reminds you that growth is happening in ways you cannot yet measure. Patience is also a teacher of resilience. When you endure long periods without visible reward, you build strength that cannot be broken by temporary setbacks. You learn that life is not a sprint but a marathon. The impatient runner may start fast, but they burn out quickly. The patient runner paces themselves, conserving energy, enduring each step, and ultimately finishing the race. Life rewards those who can endure. And let us not forget, patience is directly linked to wisdom. A patient person acts with clarity, not desperation. They know when to move forward and when to wait. They know that forcing results often leads to mistakes, while steady effort leads to mastery. Patience sharpens judgment, and judgment strengthens discipline. The storms of life will always test you. Delays will come. Obstacles will appear. Progress will sometimes feel invisible. If you do not have patience, these moments will break you. But if your roots are grounded in patience, you will stand tall. You will not give up when others do. You will not abandon your path because of temporary struggle. Instead, you will endure, and endurance is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. So, what does patience look like in your daily life? It looks like training your body even when no changes appear in the mirror. It looks like practicing a skill even when improvement feels slow. It looks like working toward your dream when no one else believes in it. It looks like continuing step by step, knowing that every effort adds to the unseen roots beneath you. Remember, the tallest trees are those that stood the longest storms, and the strongest discipline belongs to those who chose patience over frustration. Do not dig up your seed before it grows. Do not abandon your roots because the fruit takes time. Keep watering, keep believing, keep enduring. Patience does not mean waiting forever. It means trusting that the right time will come if you stay consistent. It means knowing that unseen growth is still growth. It means remembering that strength is not built in a day, but over many days, many struggles, many silent victories. When you embrace patience, you are no longer in a hurry. You are no longer desperate. You are steady, calm, unshakable. You know that discipline is not a race. It is a way of life. And when you carry patience within you, discipline becomes effortless because you are no longer obsessed with quick rewards. You are devoted to lasting growth. Discipline is impossible without self-control. You can set goals, you can dream big, you can make plans, but if you do not master yourself, life will master you. Self-control is the unseen root that keeps discipline alive, the hidden force that prevents you from being carried away by impulses, emotions, and temptations. Without it, you are like a ship with no anchor, drifting wherever the waves push you. With it, you become unshakable, steering your life with purpose and clarity. The greatest battles are not fought on battlefields. They are fought within your own mind. Every day, you face the fight between impulse and intention, between desire and discipline, between reaction and response. Self-control is the warrior that wins this inner battle. It does not mean denying your emotions or suppressing your humanity. It means mastering them, guiding them, and not allowing them to guide you blindly. Think about how often people sabotage themselves, not because of lack of opportunity, but because they could not control themselves. A harsh word spoken in anger can destroy years of trust. A moment of laziness can ruin weeks of progress. A decision made in haste can alter the course of a life. Self-control is the root that prevents temporary emotions from creating permanent damage. Understand this strength is not measured by how much you can lift, but by how much you can resist. Anyone can give in to anger, anyone can give in to distraction, anyone can give in to weakness. But the one who restrains themselves, the one who holds their ground in the face of temptation, that is true strength. The unseen root of self-control gives discipline its foundation. Self-control also protects your energy. When you are controlled by your emotions, you are constantly drained. Anger burns your energy, envy poisons your mind, distraction scatters your focus. But when you practice self-control, you conserve your energy for what truly matters. You stop wasting it on impulses and invest it in growth. This is why people with self-control often appear calm, steady, unshakable. They are not wasting themselves on battles that don't matter. But self-control is not something that appears overnight. It must be trained like a muscle. You do not become a master of yourself by chance. You become one through practice. Every time you choose to remain calm when anger rises, you strengthen your root. Every time you stay focused when distractions call, you strengthen your root. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your root. Little by little, unseen by the world, you are becoming stronger. One of the greatest truths about self-control is this: if you cannot control yourself, someone else will control you. Your environment will dictate your actions. Your desires will enslave you. Your impulses will drive your decisions. And soon, you are not living life, you are reacting to it. But when you master self-control, you take back your power. You are no longer a slave to impulses. You become the master of your direction. Consider this: storms will always come. People will provoke you. Temptations will appear. Distractions will surround you. You cannot control the storm, but you can control how you respond. That is the essence of discipline. Life is not about controlling everything outside of you. It is about controlling everything inside of you. When your inner world is steady, the outer world cannot shake you. Self-control is also the bridge between intention and action. Many people know what they should do. They know they should train their body, strengthen their mind, save their money, or remain calm. But knowing is not enough. Without self-control, intention dies as mere thought. With self-control, intention becomes action. This is why it is called the unseen root. It transforms knowledge into discipline, thought into practice, desire into reality. And let us not forget, self-control brings freedom. At first, it may feel like restriction, like denying yourself pleasure, comfort, or ease. But in truth, it liberates you. Because when you are not controlled by urges, when you are not chained to impulses, you are free to choose. You are free to live by purpose, not by reaction. That is the highest form of freedom, to be in command of yourself. So, how do you cultivate this root? Begin with awareness. Notice your impulses. Do not blindly follow them. Create space between the feeling and the action. In that space, you find your power. Learn to breathe before you react. Learn to pause before you decide. Learn to reflect before you speak. This pause is the training ground of self-control. Then, strengthen it through small acts. Choose to delay gratification. Choose to say no to what weakens you and yes to what strengthens you. Each choice is like watering the root. The more you practice, the deeper your root grows and the stronger your discipline becomes. Remember, the one who conquers others may be powerful, but the one who conquers themselves is truly invincible. You may not always control the world, but you can always control yourself. And when you do, no obstacle can break you, no temptation can sway you, no storm can uproot you. Self-control is not about suppression, it is about direction. It is not about denying your energy, it is about channeling it with wisdom. When this unseen root grows deep within you, discipline becomes your nature, not your struggle. And when discipline becomes your nature, greatness becomes your destiny. Discipline without purpose is like a tree without roots. It cannot stand, it cannot grow, and it cannot survive the storms of life. Purpose is the deepest unseen root of true discipline. It is the why behind your actions, the fuel that keeps you moving when your body is tired and your mind is weary. Without purpose, discipline feels like punishment. With purpose, discipline becomes devotion. Think of the difference between a person forced to walk a long road with no destination and another who walks the same distance to reunite with their family. The steps are the same, the miles are the same, but the feeling is entirely different. One feels meaningless and exhausting, the other feels worthy and necessary. Purpose changes everything. It transforms effort into meaning, and meaning gives discipline strength. Many people struggle with discipline, not because they are weak, but because they lack purpose. They try to force themselves into routines, into habits, into goals that do not truly matter to them. And so, their discipline collapses at the first sign of difficulty. But when your discipline is rooted in purpose, even the hardest struggles feel lighter. You endure not because it is easy, but because it is meaningful. Purpose acts like a compass. Life is full of distractions, temptations, and detours. Without a compass, you wander aimlessly, pulled in every direction. But with purpose, you have direction. Even if the path is difficult, even if storms slow you down, you do not get lost. You know where you are going, and that knowledge gives you the power to continue. Purpose also fuels resilience. Pain without meaning breaks you. Pain with meaning strengthens you. Think about athletes who train their bodies through exhaustion. To others, it looks like suffering, but to them, it is meaningful because they know their purpose. Or think about a parent who sacrifices sleep, comfort, and personal desires to provide for their child. To outsiders, it looks like hardship. To the parent, it is devotion because the purpose is clear. Discipline rooted in purpose is unstoppable. But here is the truth: finding purpose is not always easy. Many people search for it in wealth, in recognition, in comparison to others. But true purpose lies deeper. It comes from knowing who you are, what you value, and what you want to give to the world. It is not borrowed from others. It is discovered within yourself. That is why reflection, silence, and honesty are so important. You cannot find purpose if you are always chasing noise. You must look inward, ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What is worth my discipline? What is worth my life? Purpose is also what sustains discipline when motivation dies. Motivation is emotional, it rises and falls. But purpose is spiritual, it stays. When you don't feel like continuing, purpose reminds you why you began. When comfort tempts you, purpose reminds you what you will lose if you stop. When pain discourages you, purpose whispers, this struggle has meaning. Purpose also brings joy into discipline. Without it, discipline feels heavy, like carrying a burden with no end. With it, discipline becomes a form of expression, a way of honoring what you love. Think of an artist who paints late into the night, not because they must, but because their purpose drives them. Think of a warrior who trains daily, not because they are forced, but because their purpose gives every movement meaning. Purpose transforms discipline into a gift, not a cage. Another truth about purpose: it creates clarity in decision making. When your roots are anchored in purpose, you do not waste energy on meaningless battles. You do not chase distractions because you know they do not serve your path. You do not seek empty recognition because you know it cannot replace true fulfillment. Discipline becomes natural because every action is aligned with your deeper reason for living. And purpose is not only about yourself, it often expands beyond you. When your discipline is rooted in serving others, in contributing, in lifting people higher, it becomes even stronger. Because when discipline is only about you, it is easy to quit when life gets hard. But when it is about something greater, family, community, humanity, it becomes sacred. You no longer endure just for yourself, you endure for those who depend on you, those who believe in you, those who are inspired by you. Ask yourself, what is my purpose? Why do I rise each day? Why do I strive? If your answer is shallow, your discipline will be shallow. But if your answer is deep, if it is rooted in love, in growth, in contribution, then your discipline will stand unshaken, no matter what storms arrive. Purpose is the deepest unseen root. Without it, discipline withers and dies. With it, discipline flourishes into greatness. Do not chase discipline without first finding your purpose. It will not last. Instead, build your discipline on purpose, and you will discover strength you never knew you had. Remember this: when the nights are long, when the road feels endless, when your strength is nearly gone, it is purpose that will keep you walking. Purpose will whisper to you, keep going, the struggle is worth it. And when you finally reach your destination, when the fruit of your discipline appears, you will not only celebrate the result, you will honor the purpose that made it possible. In a world that grows louder every day, silence is one of the rarest and most powerful roots of discipline. Everywhere you look, there is noise. Messages demanding your attention, distractions pulling at your focus, voices telling you who to be and what to do. Many people drown in this noise, unable to hear their own thoughts, unable to see their own path. But those who cultivate silence discover something extraordinary. Discipline is not built in chaos, but in stillness. Silence is not emptiness, it is clarity. It is the space where your mind breathes, where your thoughts settle, where your true intentions rise to the surface. Without silence, you cannot hear yourself. Without hearing yourself, you cannot guide yourself. And without guidance, discipline loses its way. That is why silence is an unseen root. It works beneath the surface, creating calmness and clarity that allow discipline to grow. Think about a lake. When the water is disturbed, when waves ripple across its surface, you cannot see what lies beneath. But when the water is still, everything becomes visible. Your mind is the same. When it is noisy, when distractions stir it constantly, you cannot see clearly. But in silence, The surface calms and your inner truth reveals itself. This truth gives direction, and direction gives discipline strength. Silence is also the training ground of focus. When you learn to sit in stillness, when you detach from constant stimulation, your mind sharpens. You discover how often it wants to wander, how often it chases distractions. By bringing it back, gently but firmly, you strengthen the muscle of focus. And focus is the backbone of discipline. Without focus, you waste your energy. With focus, every action becomes powerful. Many fear silence because it confronts them with themselves. In silence, you cannot hide behind noise. You hear your doubts, your fears, your unfulfilled promises. And yet this confrontation is necessary. Discipline is not about running from truth. It is about facing it. Silence allows you to meet yourself honestly, to see what must change, to hear what must be done. From this awareness, discipline grows. Silence also teaches restraint. In a world that pushes for constant reaction, reply quickly, speak instantly, act immediately. Silence gives you the power of pause. It teaches you to respond, not react, to breathe before speaking, to reflect before acting, to choose wisely instead of impulsively. This pause, this moment of silence is the root of self-mastery. Without it, you are a slave to impulse. With it, you are the master of your discipline. Another truth: silence restores energy. Noise drains you mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Constant stimulation scatters your attention and leaves you exhausted. But silence recharges you. It is the soil where your roots grow strong, nourished not by noise, but by stillness. A few moments of silence each day can strengthen your discipline more than hours of distracted effort. Silence is also the birthplace of creativity. When your mind is quiet, new ideas emerge. When you stop chasing constant input, insight arises naturally. Great solutions, deep realizations, and powerful visions often come not in chaos but in stillness. And when you align discipline with creativity, your actions become not only consistent but also inspired. But silence does not mean isolation from life. It does not mean retreating forever into the mountains or shutting out the world completely. It means carrying an inner stillness with you, no matter where you are. It means being able to find calm in the midst of noise, to anchor yourself in clarity even when the world tries to distract you. This inner silence is the root that allows discipline to remain unshaken, no matter the environment. Ask yourself, how often do you give yourself the gift of silence? How often do you disconnect from the noise, even for a moment, to return to yourself? If the answer is rarely, then understand this: your discipline may be weaker not because of lack of effort, but because it lacks the nourishment of silence. A tree cannot grow without water, and discipline cannot grow without stillness. To cultivate this root, begin with small practices. Wake up and spend a few minutes in quiet before the world begins its noise. Walk without your phone, simply listening to your breath and the rhythm of your steps. Sit in stillness, observing your thoughts without judgment. These moments may feel uncomfortable at first because silence exposes you to yourself. But the more you practice, the more you will find strength in it. In silence, you begin to see clearly what truly matters. You recognize which habits serve your growth and which weaken you. You realize which distractions steal your time and which actions align with your purpose. From this awareness, discipline becomes natural. You are no longer forcing yourself. You are aligning yourself. And alignment is stronger than force. Remember this: a person who cannot sit in silence is a person who does not truly know themselves. And a person who does not know themselves cannot build lasting discipline. But a person rooted in silence is unshakable because they carry clarity, focus, and inner peace wherever they go. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of strength. It is the unseen root that holds your discipline steady, guiding you with clarity, protecting you from distraction, and grounding you in truth. Embrace silence, cultivate it daily, and you will discover that true discipline is not about force, it is about harmony. And harmony is only found in stillness. Discipline is not only about what you do when the world is watching, it is about what you do when no one sees. This is where the deepest and most powerful root of discipline is planted. Inner integrity. Integrity is the alignment between your values and your actions, the harmony between your words and your behavior, the truth between who you appear to be and who you really are. Without integrity, discipline is fragile, built on appearances. With integrity, discipline becomes unshakable, built on authenticity. Think about this: many people act disciplined in public because they want respect, recognition, or approval. They perform when others are watching, but in private, they abandon their promises, give in to weakness, and betray their own goals. This is not true discipline. It is performance. It is a mask that crumbles when life becomes difficult. But the one who keeps promises even when no one applauds, the one who chooses discipline in silence, the one who honors commitments in the dark, that person has cultivated inner integrity. And from that integrity, true discipline is born. Inner integrity is powerful because it builds trust with yourself. Every time you keep your word, you strengthen the root of trust. Every time you break it, you weaken it. And here is a truth: you cannot be disciplined if you do not trust yourself. How can you commit to goals? How can you push through struggles if deep down you know you often betray your own word? Inner integrity is what makes you reliable. To yourself first, and then to the world. The unseen root of integrity also gives discipline stability. External motivation rises and falls. Recognition from others may come and go, but integrity is constant. It is not about being seen. It is about being real. It is the quiet strength that says, I will do this because it matters to me, because it aligns with my values, because it makes me who I want to be. That strength does not waver when applause disappears, because it was never built for others. It was built for truth. Inner integrity also frees you from the burden of pretending. Many people exhaust themselves trying to look disciplined, rather than being disciplined. They want to appear strong instead of building strength. They want to be admired instead of becoming authentic. But when you have integrity, you no longer waste energy pretending. Your discipline flows naturally, because you are not performing, you are aligned. This authenticity makes you powerful, because you live without contradiction. Another truth: inner integrity demands honesty. Honesty about your weaknesses, honesty about your excuses, honesty about the areas you need to improve. Discipline cannot grow in self-deception. If you lie to yourself, you cannot grow yourself. Integrity forces you to confront your truth, and though this truth may be uncomfortable, it is also liberating. Once you accept it, you can change it. Integrity also demands that you keep promises, not only to others, but most importantly to yourself. Many people are careful to keep their word to others, yet they casually break the commitments they make to themselves. They say, I will wake up early, but they don't. They say, I will train today, but they skip it. Each broken promise weakens the root of discipline. But when you begin to treat your promises to yourself as sacred, your discipline grows stronger than ever. You realize that your word to yourself is as powerful as your word to anyone else. This root of inner integrity also builds courage. Because when you are true to yourself, you stop living in fear of being exposed. You stop worrying about the opinions of others, because you know your discipline is real, not an act. You gain the courage to stand tall, even when misunderstood, even when criticized. That courage makes your discipline unbreakable, because it is not built on fragile approval. It is built on inner truth. But integrity is not about perfection. It is not about never failing, never slipping, never making mistakes. It is about honesty when you do. It is about acknowledging your failures without excuses, and returning to your path with even greater commitment. Discipline rooted in integrity does not deny mistakes. It learns from them, grows from them, and uses them to deepen commitment. So ask yourself, who are you when no one is watching? Do you keep your promises when there is no recognition? Do you act with discipline when the lights are off, when applause is gone, when no one will ever know? Because that is where true discipline lives. The unseen root of inner integrity is not visible to the world, but it holds you steady when the storms of life arrive. Cultivating this root begins with small acts of honesty. Begin by noticing the moments when you are tempted to betray your word to yourself. Catch those moments and choose integrity. Honor even the smallest commitments you make. If you say you will wake up at a certain time, rise. If you say you will complete a task, finish it. These may seem small, but each act deepens the root of integrity, making your discipline stronger day by day. And remember, the tree does not stand tall because of what people see above the ground. It stands tall because of what no one sees beneath it. In the same way, your discipline will be admired by the world, but only you will know the unseen roots that hold it steady. And the deepest of these roots is integrity. Inner integrity is the foundation of true discipline. Without it, your actions are fragile, your strength is borrowed, and your growth is temporary. With it, your actions are steady, your strength is real, and your growth is unshakable. Discipline is not about appearances, it is about alignment. And alignment begins with integrity, so live truthfully. Honor your word, keep your promises, do what is right, even in silence, even in solitude. For when your roots are grounded in inner integrity, your discipline will never break, because it is not built on what others see, but on who you truly are. Discipline is not what you show, it is what you grow. The world will see your strength, but only you know the unseen roots that hold you steady. Shi Heng Yi teaches that true discipline begins beneath the surface, in silence, in patience, in consistency, in purpose, in self-control, and in integrity. So do not chase the fruit, nourish the roots. For when your unseen roots are strong, no storm, no challenge, no obstacle can ever uproot you. Build discipline where no one sees it, and soon the world will see what no one can deny.